The new firm Derby makes some new signings. Welcome back to Fog Football. Yeah, it's Euro fallout time, but you have to remember there's a transfer window not even open yet, and signings are happening left, right, and centre. Can you dig that, Mitov? Can you? Hit me with it.
Yeah, Mitov has traded in Perth for Pittodrie as he joins Aberdeen. We made a video on this yesterday speaking about the fact that Aberdeen were interested and they were going to inquire and put in a bid. Well, things must have been moving pretty quickly, because within the space of 24 hours it's went from Aberdeen being interested to Aberdeen actually getting their man. So a quick 24-hour turnaround here, but Aberdeen showing this season, I think that they mean business. It took things a while to pick up, but since Jimmy Phelan actually arrived, we've been seeing players pretty much come into Pittodrie and players leave Pittodrie pretty much non-stop.
I think it's a very good signing. You know what, from Aberdeen, I have to give them credit where credit is due. You're talking about one of the better goalies in the league. He's only 27. He's a big goalie. Well, he's big. He's decent height for a goalie, 6'2", and he is a Bulgarian international. It's not just some throwaway jabroni here that's not going to start many games. I mean, 3-year contract. I think it's smart business for Aberdeen. You know, no money being spent on him whatsoever. Was he too good for St Johnstone? I think he was too good for St Johnstone. Now, if it was St Johnstone of the Cup double days, I say that like it was 20 million years ago. It was only 3 years ago, but hell, 55 happened during that, and that does feel like a lifetime ago. But in all seriousness, back to St Johnstone, I think he's too good for them. And I don't like seeing people who have actually got a bit of talent waste it with Diddy teams in the league. Not that Aberdeen were particularly great this season, but I think the guy warrants a bigger move, and he got it.
I can see Mitov being an important part of this Aberdeen rebuild. I think they need it. A keeper, they've got Ross Doohan in there, but I mean, Aberdeen can't really be thinking about him as the number one. I think they needed someone to replace Roos, and I think they have it here with Mitov, and I actually think they have a goalkeeper that is probably going to be better than Roos was. I think Roos was decent at Aberdeen. He was prone to a mistake or two, though. I think Mitov, I said it yesterday, I think Mitov last season was probably one of the better goalkeepers in the league, but because he plays for St Johnstone, you know, he kind of gets overlooked a little bit. But I would say he was pretty impressive, and obviously now moving to Aberdeen, I expect he will improve and just get better as a player.
He did sign a 2-year deal with St Johnstone, so maybe, I don't know how much Aberdeen's paid, but I doubt it's
approximately somewhere between 100 and 200k I'm hearing, so maybe 150.
That's good.
Would that be fair? I think so.
I mean, a year left.
It's cheaper than Robbie McCrory.
Yeah, dare I say it's better than Robbie McCrory.
So, yeah, I think that...
I mean, he played 38 games last season.
I don't think Robbie McCrory to Aberdeen was ever really going to happen this year, especially when Rangers came out and claimed that they were looking for at least $500,000. I thought that was just kind of ruling it out straight away. But the deal is now done. Mitov's an Aberdeen player, and I think he will have a decent season for them. I think he could be a good goalkeeper for Aberdeen.
Yeah, as for the next deal, we've got Dundee United delighted to announce the signing of Croatian defender Vicko Sevelj. Initial 2-year deal from NK Radomilje. They just fire L's, man, in these names like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, L's that you don't really pronounce, but he is 100.
Well, I did.
Well, there you go. He is 6 foot, 1.83 metres. He can play fullback, centre back, and defensive midfield. Obviously, he now plays for Dundee United. However, he used to play for Hajduk Split, which is a decent side, although he did only make 3 appearances for the full senior side. He played for the secondary team for 3 seasons. He also played for Sarajevo in Serbia, and he has had a couple of loan deals and then found himself playing at Radomil for 56 appearances after 2022. He also has 5 appearances for the Croatian under-20 side, with 1 goal coming in those 5 games. So, you know, we can't really sit here and say too much about Vicko Sevelj because we don't know if he's going to be any good or not. We don't really know much about him. But I think it's always good to be optimistic when clubs from Scotland are signing players like this. You know, that they're looking abroad, they're looking to try and bring in good players. It's like a positive signing rather than just like kind of rehashing the same old Scottish Premier League players that aren't quite good enough, but they're giving them like another chance. I think you always get a little bit excited when they're signing players from a European league that is unknown. It could turn out to be a dud, but he's Croatian. Croatia have produced quite a lot of good players over the year. This guy could be one of them.
He could be one of them. He did spend a bit of time on loan at Akron Toyotai. You may be wondering, who the hell are they? Well, they're actually in the Russian Premier League. He didn't play any games, but I think this is just a different topic to bring up here. What's happening with the Russian Premier League? Obviously not in Europe. Is the money the same? What's the deal?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with Russia right now, but when is the Russians going to be allowed back in the Champions League? When are they going to be allowed back in the World Cup and the Euros? I mean, it makes no sense. Why are the Russians... you look at the conflict going on in the Middle East, and I can't be arsed really turning my attention to that or talking too much about that, but the point I'm trying to make is, I mean, you've still got Israeli teams playing in the Champions League. And this isn't me I'm not trying to paint Israel here to be the bad guys or anything like that, but it's like, why is it okay for like one nation to essentially be at war, but when another nation is at war, they pretty much get banned from all competitions? I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, like Senate have won it the last 3 years. Well, they've won it 6 in a row, but you've heard hee-haw about it.
No, but I'm thinking more the international and European level here. When's the Russian national team and when are Russian clubs going to be allowed back to play?
No, I know. I don't really understand it, because what is the end game? Is it as soon as the war stops, do Russia get fired back in where they were?
How many times were America overseas in wars and we're still allowed to play in World Cups?
It's corrupt, isn't it?
So why are Russia being blacklisted, essentially? It makes no sense to me that you brought Russia up, and I just wanted to touch upon that.
No, I thought it's a pretty solid point, because you know what? Like, it's a big league.
It's not a
Diddy league.
It's not because of security reasons, I don't think.
No.
Or else you wouldn't be playing in Ukraine either.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have Ukrainian teams in the Champions League or whatever.
Even though most of their games are at like neutral grounds, but...
Well, the Russian clubs could play at neutral grounds, couldn't they, if you're going to go down that argument?
You could, but let's just leave it there, shall we? Alright, 2 good signings here. What a day it was. What a morning it is. You
know what? I know the Euros is on right now, but... And this pains me to say, because I waited years and years and years for Scotland to actually start qualifying. But it's almost like, see with Steve, I'm kind of just looking forward to the new season beginning. I don't know, I see watching Steve Clark's Scotland like it's
just not that good.
No.
It's not exciting, it's just dire football, and it's like, are we going to scrape something and we don't?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to starting the new season. Obviously enjoy the Euros while it lasts, because I don't think it's going to be there much longer. I think our participation could be ending on Sunday.
I would say we've probably played in the 2 worst matches. The first game was diabolical, and that game tonight...
Yeah, this Euros is getting a lot of praise for the quality of the football, but I've watched...
It's a load of us.
I've watched both Scotland games, and there's not been much quality, at least not from our end.
I think Georgia and Albania have been better than us.
So there you go, guys. Euros ain't really impressing us. Big football season ahead. I'm actually positive to see what our teams can do in Europe this season as well. Hearts automatically in group stage football. And I think it's going to be fresh to see how Kilmarnock can do and how St Mirren can do, because we're used to like Aberdeen and Hibs being in these qualifiers. I'm excited to see the beginning of the football season.
Absolutely, but until next time...
Dundee derby as well, back in the top flight.
New Firm derby.
New Firm derby in there as well.
That's plenty of effort.